There is no sense, idea, understanding, or existence of time there. Eternity is a second, and a second is eternity.
Hello, and welcome to Spirit Travels, where we narrate the extraordinary experiences of people who have glimpsed the other side of death. My name is Maureen, and I will be your narrator on this journey. If you enjoy this content, please make sure to like and subscribe to support our channel. Now let's begin.
Today's NDE is by Steve. We had arrived in Key West with our two best friends for our annual trip to South Florida. This trip included visiting Fort Lauderdale for about 8 or 9 days, with 4 days in Key West. We always had a blast. We drove from the condominium, or condo. I think it was a Wednesday because we had big plans to watch the NCAA men's tournament games Thursday and Friday. We arrived at the condo, and the husband friend and I went to take a dip while our wives had a cocktail in the condo. We were going to go out that night. We came back to the condo, rinsed off, and got dressed for the night. I was having a beer, and he was having a cocktail. Our wives were coming in off the porch. I remember turning to leave and feeling a very faint sense of falling face first to the floor. The next thing I know, I was outside my body. I didn't feel myself leave. I was just floating outside the condo, watching the action. I was floating about 2 stories high, near the steps downstairs. In retrospect, I don't think I died until the EMTs left the condo, because my friend's wife started CPR right away. I now know that I was in between death and life. At that time in my life, I was big, weightlifting and exercising. I was in very good shape, 6 foot 2 inches and about 265 pounds at that time. I worked out twice a day, many days. I say this not to brag, but to illustrate 2 points. I was in great shape and was only a big slab of humanity. I mention size because as I watched the EMTs negotiate the narrow stairs, but just a small turns at the bottom of each 6 or so steps, I remember laughing and thinking, there's no way they're going to get that guy to the ambulance. Suddenly, I became aware that I was floating and saw a large crowd watching the action. I actually remember specific faces. The last face I focused on was that of a dark-haired kid who seemed to make eye contact with me. Then, in a flash, I shot off at indescribable speed. The light around me resembled the movie Star Wars when a spaceship went to light speed. I saw kaleidoscopic colors, so bright and dynamic that I really cannot describe them, although I can visualize them as they appeared during my trip. There is no sense, idea, understanding, or existence of time there. Eternity is a second, and a second is eternity. I rocketed off and then seemed to slow down. I was facing a wondrous, glowing ball of light. I don't possess the vocabulary to describe the light. At this time, I felt the presence of someone else behind me who communicated that everything was cool. I also figured everything was cool because I was completely at ease. I felt that I was aware beyond belief. There are more than 3 dimensions, and I experienced some of that. It was just jaw-dropping, brilliant, goosebump stuff. At some point, my entire life flashed before me. It was not in snippets of my life, but somehow, my entire life all at once. Some of what I saw I remembered made me feel euphoria, laughter, and other times, sadness. But again, it occurred all at once. At some point, it was communicated to me that love is all that matters. This meant love for all fellow humans, love and respect for the earth, for the birds, animals, and even insects. All things are from our Creator, and we are all everything connected at every level. I was given a lot of information that just stuns me to this day. Time is not linear, and I can't really explain this thing that I learned. All time is now, then, next, or whatever. But I've had to explain it in sort of a linear fashion because I guess that's just how I understand it. After some knowledge lessons, I learned beyond love, connectedness, and our eternal existence. I had to go. Again, in some way, I was told that it was time to go. My next memory is waking up in Key West Regional Hospital. My first memory is that the staff had ruined my beard. I was told that they'd shaved the mustache so the oxygen mask would fit correctly. I remember nothing other than being there. Then I was in a chair with some brain damage, but my personality was intact. Slowly, over the next few days, I became more lucid, but was still not very aware mentally. I actually complained that I didn't get to experience the near-death experience. Eventually, I was sent to a hospital in Miami, then to our friend's Fort Lauderdale home, then on a plane home. I don't remember the whole timeline, but I think it was 3 weeks. Since then, I suffer from PTSD from the event, and I'm very troubled by my vivid dreams. I also have deep compassion and deep love. I remember the good stuff and the bad stuff. Yet, what I learned is priceless. If you want to hear more about Steve's experience, he actually answered a long questionnaire. I will put the link for that in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this narration. Until next time, friends.